to The Winning Agenda featuring Isaac Egan. How you doing, Isaac?
I'm doing good. Just ready to crack some packs. You want to crack some packs?
Yeah, it's crack some packs. So what are we cracking though? Isaac's, of course, our long-time Magic the Gathering playing friend who we've had along for plenty of Winning Agenda streams before. But we're not cracking Magic tonight, are we?
No magic. Instead, we're going to be cracking this Flesh and Blood. Uh, Tales of Aria. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, Tales of Aria. So Isaac's now played in a grand total of, what, 2 sealed tournaments?
Yeah, I've played in 2 sealed tournaments. Oh, kind of 3, like two and a half.
Yeah, cool.
I played in 2 full ones, and then one I played a round and a half.
Yeah.
And then had to go to a meeting.
Yeah. So. But how have you found the game so far?
I'm actually really enjoying it. I've been asked to play a bunch of different games that are not Magic the Gathering over the many, many years. This is the first one I've actually gotten into and decided that I actually like it. And I even asked you for a constructed deck so that we can actually play some games via constructed. So
yeah,
I'm enjoying Sealed and keen to give constructed a go.
So we're still in lockdown here in Melbourne, which is why my hair keeps growing crazier and crazier. But I was able to meet Isaac outside in a park and give him a constructed deck today. So I've dropped off Bravo and we'll hopefully be recording a couple of games maybe with some Bravo constructed play once Isaac's got his head around the deck.
That'll be good. That'll be good.
Yeah. But at the very least, we'll be playing a few. But here, we're going to be cracking open some sealed packs. So you are a bit familiar with these cards, Isaac. What have you thought of the set so far?
It's pretty cool to play in Limited because you've got these fuse mechanics. And so trying to work out how many cards you defend with versus how many cards you want to keep and then fuse and then have resources for. So do you take a bunch of damage, there's some turns where you take 9, 10 damage so that you can then hit back for like 10 or 11 or 12 damage and have it be dominated, for instance, so that you have these big swings, which is pretty cool. And then the dynamic of playing against other people that are playing that might not be doing that same kind of strategy, so they're kind of chipping away at damage, whereas you're trying to clunk. So sometimes you defend a bunch. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's very cool. I've been enjoying it.
Enjoying the tempo and the dynamics. And if you are familiar with the set, you probably will have picked up from Isaac's description there that he's been enjoying playing many a Glacial Footsteps in Oldhim and try to clunk people for 10.
Oh, Glacial Footsteps. Yeah. Oh, I love Glacial Footsteps.
Yeah, which is why I've given Isaac Bravo as his first constructed deck. Yeah. So should we get into the packs?
Yeah, I also just wanted to show that my little cat, oh, hello, buddy, is just chilling here.
Little Paxel.
Yeah, little Paxel. He's such a cutie. He's all snoozy at the moment.
And he's got a new house today.
Yeah, I did some extensions to his little outside area that we got for him. So, yeah. He's already gone out there a couple of times just to chill out. He likes to go outside. It's like where his little box is. And so I built him like an extra little kind of like cubby area type thing so that he can chill out there on a sunny day and be further away from his little box and just chill out. So, and he looks like he likes it. So worth the amount of time that I spent building it today, which is cool.
Got to keep the little cat happy.
I'm not much of a builder, so it took me a while. I'm really proud of it, actually. Very happy with that. So, yeah. Okay, so I have a question for you.
Yeah.
As we're opening this, I'm going to put it down here so that we can get this ready.
Yeah.
What is the number one card that we want to open in this set, and how much do you think it's roughly worth?
So, Korshem Crossroads of the Elements is the Fabled. So each FaB set has one Fabled card, which they don't tell you the exact number of packs you need to open to get a Fabled. That's kind of a secret that they keep. They tell you every other rarity, how many packs you need to open, as well as cold foils. So I think for Aria, it's 1 in every 20 packs as a cold foil. But cold foils can be any rarity from common to Fabled. And the Fabled and the Legendaries only come in cold foil. Legendaries are approximately 1 per case, so 1 per every 4 boxes, and there are 6 Legendaries in the set. And the Fabled, we think, is around one per, I can't remember if it's 6 or so cases, 6 or 9 cases or something like that, but it's a lot.
And a case is 4 boxes.
4 boxes,
so
yeah.
if it's 6, 1 per 6 cases, at the lower end, 6, 12, 18, 24. So 1 per 24 boxes would be one of those Fabled?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and 1 per 4 boxes for the legend? Is that
Thereabout.
right?
Yep, thereabouts. One per 4 boxes for a legendary. And then, so the rarities we've got are common, rare, and rare for those who come from other TCGs. The rares are 2 per pack, so they're quite like uncommons in Magic, for example. And the price reflects that. Not many of them are worth more than sort of $1. And then you've got the Majestics, which are usually 6 and 2 foils per box on the Majestics.
So we're looking for some sweet Majestics, but really the Lotto card is pretty much one of these legends, cold foil legends,
Yep.
legendary.
Legendaries, yep.
And the ultra super mega rare is the Fabled, which is 1 per like 20 to 40 boxes or something.
That's your expedition, if you like. Yep.
Yeah, expedition. Okay, I like that. Cool. All right. Just yeah.
So the packs have a few commons at the front, and then you've got your 2 rare slots. The first slot is always a rare, exactly, and the second slot is a rare or higher. So that's where you can get up to, it's rare or majestic. They've done it slightly differently with Tales, because it used to be that you could get your legendaries or your Fabled in that rare or higher slot. In the foil slot, I should say, which comes after that, and the foil slot can be any rarity. But in Tales specifically, the Fabled and the legendaries, I think, come in the equipment slot. So the cold foil always comes in the equipment slot, which is after the foil. So we've got a few commons first.
And then we've got, this is the first,
Nope, still commons.
First rare?
First rare, yep.
Explosive growth.
So,
and then
we've got the rare or majestic, and this one's a rare, Wave Ice.
cool. And then we've got a rainbow foil frazzle, which is a common.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got our equipment slot, and that's not a cold foil, is it? No.
It is a cold foil.
It is a cold foil. Okay, so first pack cold foil.
Okay, so cold foil is about 1 every 4 boxes, is that right?
No. Cold foil is 1 per 20 packs. So,
okay,
yeah,
cool.
you usually get 1 in a box, but that's a common. So it's not a great hit, because it means that our pretty much guaranteed cold foil for the box is a common. So now we're searching for a second cold foil, which is slightly less likely. And if we do get a second cold foil, it's likely to be a good one.
Okay, cool. So it is a Hiding Hood at cold foil common. Still quite nice pull. I'm happy with it. And then some more stuff. Oh, Thump. I do like a good Thump.
Definitely a good one in Limited. Kill many a person with a Thump.
Yeah. Does it see any constructive play, Thump?
It's in that Bravo deck I gave you.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure it will. It's a solid attack.
Alright, so we got some commons. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 commons. First rare is Cold Wave.
So an arrow for the Ranger. Ooh, a Majestic.
Channel Lake Frigid. Now, you played against me with this the other day, yeah? This is quite annoying to play against.
Yeah, this I think is one of the most powerful Majestics in the set. It remains to be seen how it goes in Constructed, but just on raw power, it can make everything your opponent does cost 1 more resource, which in FaB is quite a lot. Like, that's the maximum resources you can get from every resource card is 3. So yeah, making everything cost 1 more for them is quite expensive, because if they're doing 1 thing a turn, that's 1 resource, but then if they're trying to do 3 or 4 things a turn, then that's maybe 3 or 4 extra resources that they have to pay. And you can potentially keep it alive not just for 1 turn. Most things in FaB go away after 1 turn, but Channel Lake Frigid can potentially survive for 2 or even 3 turns, which is a pretty big deal.
Is it a little bit easier if I face them this way? Is it easier to see?
Yeah, probably easier for people to read. Yeah, that'd be good.
All right, and then foil Icequake. So there's 1 foil in every...
1 foil in every pack, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yep.
Yeah, and then a equipment, and this one's a common.
Yep. Cool.
So there are 3 classes in this set, and then there's 3 elements, and each of the classes is 2 of the elements. So there's a Guardian who can play the Earth and the Ice cards, and they are the ones who play Thump and all these big attacks that Isaac likes. Then there's a Ranger who's Ice, and that's an Ice card on top there. Ice and Lightning, and the Ranger plays all the arrow attacks, and they're doing kind of a bit of disruption and then a bit of being able to do more than 1 attack per turn, which is what the kind of lightning element is. You can see there that card Flash gives you the ability to play an extra action card on your turn. And then the third element is Earth, and the third hero is Briar, who's a Runeblade, and she's Earth and Lightning. So she's got a bit of this kind of buffing your defense and attack, like this Earth card here, just buffs the defense of one of the things you're blocking with. And she's also got the Lightning side of things, so able to do more than 1 attack per turn or more than 1 action per turn. That's a nice foil Thump there for you.
Yeah, foil Thump, which I like the look of. And then Dead Blue and some other stuff. Oh,
Glacial Footsteps.
Love it. Cool.
So Glacial Footsteps, the reason we're saying that is it's the biggest damage attack in the set. So it gets in there.
It costs a lot of resources to be able to play it, so a lot of the time you can't even play it at all.
But when you do.
But when you do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So first rare is Embolden, which is another Guardian one for the heavy hitters. A Bolton Shot, which is an arrow for... that can actually be played by any Ranger. The new Ranger Lexi can play it, and the old Ranger Azalea can also play it. And it's a pretty good one. And a foil. Oh, Isaac, there's boxes for you.
This one's going over here. Oops. One of those footsteps. That's the cold foil, but not cold foil.
Yep.
We got earlier.
And then some elemental cards at the back for the factions.
All right. So unlikely to get a legendary at this point because it would be a cold foil. Is that right?
In my experience with this set so far, I've actually, every time I've opened a legendary, there's also been a common cold foil in the pack. So it's kind of like hard to say, but it used to be that kind of, if you got a cold foil common, you'd be like, it's less likely I'm going to get a legendary now. But you never know, especially since we got it on the first pack of the box, just with the way the track printing works, because it's 1 every 20 packs. I kind of feel like in the last few packs of the box, we've got a chance here.
Cool. All right, so first rare is Evergreen.
Mm-hmm.
Second rare, this card seemed good in sealed. Is it all right in constructed?
It's a tough one in constructed. So it's a 0 cost. It's a special card type called Defense Reaction. So most cards in Flesh and Blood, the interesting thing about them is you can pitch them for resources, so use them as your resource cards, or you can attack with them, or use them on your turn for some kind of positive advantage, or you can block with them. Defense reactions, you can pitch them for resources. You can't use them on your turn for any positive game action, but you can defend with them, and they usually defend better than regular cards. So they're like specialist defense cards. This one is interesting because when you defend with it, you're threatening damage to them. Which is a really cool thing to be able to do. It's really rare in Flesh and Blood to be able to threaten damage on your opponent's turn, but as a result, the defense value on it is actually a bit lower. So particularly this blue one, you can see it pitches for more resources. In FaB, there's like a blue, yellow, and red version of most cards. This one's the blue, so it pitches for 3. So it's the best resource version of the card, but it only defends for 1, which is not great for a defense reaction.
Yeah, so if you needed like blues in your deck to just be resources, then you could play this for this, knowing that you can defense reaction if you need to ping them for 1 damage.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem great, but yeah, like I did got a few times by this.
In limited, just the ability to get them on their turn, you'd probably play that at blue, but yeah. Otherwise,
Rainbow Foil, common looks like.
Yep.
Yep.
It's an arrow.
Crackerjacks, I enjoy that. Oh, Glacial Footsteps.
Definitely going to have your playset of Glacial Footsteps.
I think I've already got that. The playset. Even before this.
Yeah, so in FaB Constructed, you can actually play 3 copies of each pitch version of the card. So things like Glacial Footsteps or Sigil of Suffering, which we just talked about, if they have a red, yellow, and blue version, you can play 3 copies of each version. So you can have 9 in your deck.
Rebirth, second one of them.
Another Majestic, second Majestic for the box.
Yeah. So this one is Channel Thunder
Step.
Step.
Channel Thunder Step is very similar to Channel Lake Frigid. It's in the same cycle. It stays in play if you have enough of the right theme cards, which is lightning in this case, then you can keep it alive over multiple turns. But it's a bit less powerful than Channel Lake Frigid because you actually have to pay for its triggered ability. So it's a bit more resource intensive.
Then we've got another foil common. Yep.
Emerging Avalanche, yep.
Yep. And then some other cards.
Yep. Some equipment and then some of those class cards. So one of the things I'm really excited about is actually drafting Aria because we're still in lockdown. We haven't had the opportunity to draft, but I think it's going to be really, really sweet with the way the set's divided up between the 3 heroes and the 3 different elements, trying to read the signals and craft the best deck.
Trying to work out which of the element is the most open.
Yeah.
So that you then have like a critical mass of those things in order to be able to fuse them because they all get more powerful when you fuse them. But although some of them are like, if you fuse them, cool. And if you don't fuse them, cool. It's only the difference between dominate and not dominate can be really huge later in the game, but not of a big deal like kind of earlier on.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think that's particularly true for a lot of those Oldhim attacks. So things like, I think it's Entangle, the 3 cost 7 at red. Like, you don't really care that much if you fuse it. It's just a really efficient, good attack.
Yep.
Icequake, first rare.
First rare. Second rare, Embolden.
Mm-hmm.
And then a foil Explosive Growth, which is a rare.
Mm-hmm. So that's a nice little Rune Blade, little Briar attack.
And then we've got equipment and some other stuff in here.
Common and Bouteilles.
When you're opening packs, right?
Yeah.
And you're working out which cards you're gonna put into your trade folder, or which cards you're gonna keep, or which cards are just kind of bulk rares and that kind of thing. How do you work it out? How do you see a rainbow foil common, for instance? Where's that kind of in your radar?
So I keep aside all the commons and all the rares or higher. And then, all the common foils. All the foils, all the rares or higher. And then put the commons in another box. So the commons are basically bulk, like they're away in storage. But the foil commons and the foil of any rarity I keep because, having foils in your deck is sweet.
Cool. Flash?
Yep, so first rare, second rare. So 2 lightning rares in that pack.
Cool.
Foil Strength of Sequoia.
Yeah. Sequoia, the thing that I've struggled to say so many times. Yeah.
I think you're not the only one. Sequoias are really beautiful redwood trees from California. And there's actually here in Victoria, Australia, we are pretty much straight across the Pacific Ocean from California. And there's a really beautiful sequoia forest in the rainforest in Victoria that was planted by some people who brought sequoia saplings from California. So there you go. That's a little connection we have with California and with that card.
Turn Timber.
Mm-hmm.
Another Evergreen.
Yep.
Shield of the Bone is the foil. And, yep.
Amulet. Yeah. So in the equipment slot in this set, which comes after the foil, you can get those amulet cards, which is actually a massive hosing in sealed because the amulets are not very good. And equipment is really important. So I opened 4 amulets and 2 equipment in a sealed pool last week. It was really bad.
Was that the one that I remember that you were in 1-3 or something?
Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah. And you're I can't do any of these things. No, we're good. All right. So we got an arrow. Is that an arrow?
Yeah. That's a rare arrow for Lexi.
Yep. Another rare. And
a foil majestic. And it's a good one too.
Yeah.
That one's in your Bravo deck.
Okay, cool. This does look really, really nice in foil. I don't think the video really does it justice. You can't really see it, but IRL, this demon character in the middle is really really shiny.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
The foils in this set are much better quality, I think, than the other FaB foils. I've really enjoyed them.
Okay, so it's blue, 3 to cast, pitches for 3. Your next Guardian attack this turn against +1 attack, dominate, and if it hits a hero that discard 2 cards, go again. Okay. I see why this would be good. Getting dominate, and if they hit, they have to pitch 2 cards. That's a lot of cards to pitch. But it does cost a lot.
Yeah, it costs 3. So the idea is in Guardian, you're playing mostly blues. So most of your cards will be able to pitch to play this one. And then you'll hopefully be able to pitch another one to play one of your attacks, or another 2 to play an attack you've got in Arsenal.
Yep.
Or something like that. And the really good thing about this is that it works very well with Bravo's weapon. Because Bravo's weapon, unlike most things that buff your next attack, this actually buffs your next Guardian attack, not attack action card. So it actually buffs the weapon as well, which means that Bravo's hammer swings for 6. So if you play this, you can actually have a 7 power dominated weapon attack that causes them to discard 2 if it hits, which is really strong.
Yeah, that is really strong. Really looks cool, this foil. I'm happy with that. Like, even if we don't crack much more from that, if it's a foil that's going to go in the deck that I'm going to play, then
yeah, it's a pretty sweet hit.
Foil Majestic. I'm sure that there are people, particularly before I started playing this and was keen about getting this in a deck. How much is this card worth? What's the Foil Majestic?
It's really hard to say at the moment. With Majestics in particular, I'd probably say ballpark. A non-foil might be 15, and a foil maybe 25 or 30 bucks.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So non-foil is about 15, and the foil, between 50 and 25 maybe, just depending on how much people want the foil.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sigil of Suffering, that one that we talked about earlier.
And a red version, so probably the best one to play. Bolt and Shot, and a foil Earthlaw Surge, and a deep blue. Yeah, so you'll see as we go through that because there's the 3 different pitch values of each common, you do get quite a lot of the same actual card, but there's just you get the different pitches so that you can fill out your decks in your collection. So all the cards that are, or not all, but most cards that are printed at common will have the 3 different pitch values.
Yeah.
And rare.
Couple so. And Weave Ice.
Mm-hmm.
And foil common in Polar Blast.
Oh!
What's this, Jeff? This interesting looking foil. That was a little coldy foil there, a little coldy foil. Look cold. What's that, Jesse? What's that?
Well, there's your legendary.
So you see that little orange down here. So when we see the Majestic here, to give you that comparison, so the Majestics are red, and this one here is orange. So the orange refers to legendary. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now these are all cold foils in this one, so it's it's hard to see. It looks much better.
We're getting pretty good reflection there actually on that light. That looks really sweet. So Rampart of the Ram's Head is actually the most expensive legendary at the moment in the set. So it's currently around 300 to 350 for that. And
maybe.
It's also the only legendary that has that kind of extended art treatment. So you can see that compared to the Tear Asunder behind you that you were holding earlier, that one has the smaller art box, whereas the Rampart of the Ram's Head has this kind of extended art box, which is pretty cool. So they tend to have in first edition sort of 1 or 2 cards that they give a different treatment to. Channel Lake Frigid, which is the first Majestic you got, there's an alternate art rainbow foil version, and Rampart has this extended art on the legendary. So that's those are kind of the 2 special ones in this set. So you hit one of them.
we're going to crack the rest of this box because even though there's very unlikely to be another like sweet cold foil in there, but I'm not going to sell these packs after I've pulled such beautiful cold foil in there, and plus
we're cracking packs.
I'm just still marveling at this, right? Because I don't know. Correct me if you disagree. Tell me if you disagree, Jesse, about the rate of which I have exhibited luck in this game. Pulling expensive cards is pretty insane.
It is pretty insane. So in Isaac's first sealed pull, he got a Heart of Ice, which is another legendary from the set, legendary cold foil, out of 6 packs. And then he got a common cold foil out of his next 6 packs. And now he's got a legendary in his first box. So it's a pretty good start. As well as, I should say, when Isaac was playing with some of my packs, when Monarch first came out, we had kind of half a sealed at my house. And he pulled a cold foil Fabled in that. So, yeah, he's doing pretty well.
Ooh. And now, is this one played and constructed at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. And you can actually play that in Bravo in some matchups. So actually, you can hold on to that as a sideboard card for Bravo because it requires you to play a one-handed weapon, which is actually quite weak over your two-handed hammer. But in some matchups, just having the hammer pretty much having the shield pretty much shuts them down. So definitely a good sideboard card for Bravo.
Weave Lightning.
Mm-hmm. Nice Majestic.
Frostlock. What does this one do? I'm going to read this out. Alright, so it's cost 1, pitches for 3. Ice Fusion. So cards and activated abilities cost opponent heroes an additional energy to play this turn. If Frostlock was fused against +1 attack, if this hits a hero until the end of their next turn, they can't pitch or play cards with a base cost 0.
So this is a really powerful card. It's probably one of the best Ranger cards in this new set. It's an arrow, which is the way that Rangers attack. They've got this particular attack type called arrow, which you have to play through your arsenal. And their weapon is a bow that loads the arrows into the arsenal. And this particular one makes it more expensive for them to play defense reactions and instants on your turn. Makes one resource more expensive. And if it's fused and you hit them with it, they can't pitch or play cheap spells. So there's a lot of things that cost 0 in this game, have 0 as a resource cost, and they both can't play them on their turn, nor can they pitch them. So they pretty much can't do anything with them, which is pretty bad. So it has the potential to be a pseudo Time Walk. It's pretty strong.
Right. Yeah. If you fuse it and manage to get in the hit, then
even if you don't hit, you can still threaten to invalidate half their hand, so that they have to block when they wouldn't have wanted to.
Yeah. So even if you don't hit, you force them to change the way that they were planning to do their turn.
Yeah.
So if it was because some of those decks are cool, you can hit me for a bunch, but in my turn I'm going to go 0 cost, 0 cost, 0 cost, 1 cost, 0 cost, 0 cost. And draw a card, 0 cost, draw a card, 0 cost, whatever, and then kind of chain off a bunch of things. Isn't there isn't there a hero whose name is actually Chain?
There is. Rest in peace. Played Chain during the last constructed season, and then one of the key cards ate a ban a couple of weeks ago, so I was still mourning that.
Snapshot. Reading this upside down.
So it's another arrow for Lexi, and it's a really interesting combo with one of the bows that I won't go into now, but I've been brewing up a little deck with that. And Mulchy.
We're going to put this one aside for a certain individual in the Magic community. Mulchy. Foil Mulch. Yeah.
It's always good to have cards named after you. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're actually very lucky. One of the fans of our Netrunner podcast, The Winning Agenda, won a competition in another card game called Doomtown Reloaded, which was quite popular for a little while. It's kind of a Wild West themed card game. Anyway, he won this competition to design a card, and he designed a card called The Winning Agenda. So there is a card called The Winning Agenda in Doomtown Reloaded, and it's named after us.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Shout out to that person because that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What a tribute! What a tribute! That is maximum respect.
Yeah.
Frostfang.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get another majestic.
Mm-hmm.
Flash freeze. Is this one any good?
It's a little bit less exciting to me. It's got a very high ceiling, but consistency-wise, I'm not convinced.
Cool.
Foil snapshot, that's a nice one. So this is the kind of thing, as you see as you go through, because there's quite a few foil rares and even a lot of commons see a lot of play in constructed. As you start to get these rainbow foils, you're kind of like, now I just want to foil out my whole deck. So they actually are quite nice to open. So like, for instance, I don't have a play set of foil snapshots for my deck, and it's like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it because like some of these foils, because there's like a foil in every pack, they're not too expensive.
Yeah.
Which increases the demand side because there's like an increase in supply. Whereas
That's right.
like in Magic, it can be incredibly expensive to foil out your deck. So the cold foils are a bit of a difference because some of those are pretty expensive. So.
Yes.
All right. First one we got is Biting
Gale. Mm-hmm. Bit of cold wind. Yeah, Weave Earth.
Yep. Foil rare in Turn Timber.
And a cheeky garbage amulet.
Garbage. Quite the pile of pack rubbish behind me.
Always the way.
Cold Wave.
Mm-hmm.
And Summerwood Shelter.
One that you're familiar with from Limited.
Yep. Foil Dazzling Crescendo.
Mm-hmm.
Endo.
Yet another arrow.
Yeah.
Coat of Frost and some cheeky attacks at the back. So getting down to probably the last third or less of the box.
Yep.
I'm still stoked that you hit that rampart. That's so sick. I feel like for people who are watching this video later who like want to scroll through and see if we got any big hits, I feel like you should leave that rampart out on a pile on its own so that they can see that we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have this.
Yeah, that deserves to be on its own, I think.
So when they're skipping through, like,
disappeared.
At some point, yeah. All right, with ice and Rite of Lightning. Rites of Lightning. Foil Stir the Wildwood.
Wildwood, yeah, a bit of the Briar action coming through.
Yeah.
Have you played Briar in any of your sealed events so far?
Yeah, I played Briar once. I haven't played Lexi yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you had that really sweet Briar deck, didn't you?
Yeah, it's quite good. It's quite good. But it was lacking being able to hit consistently with the weapon.
Yes, you've had 2 double fuses, haven't you? Because you had Oak and Old in one of your sealed pools, and then you had the Force of Nature, I think it is, or whatever, the Blossoming Spellblade rather, which is the attack for 6 that has the double fuse, and you managed to get the dual fusion off on both of them, didn't you, in games?
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Cool. Icequake and a Turn Timber. Foil Amulet of Lightning.
And Sutcliffe Sweethearts. Oh, big thump from those cards. That rampart is so cool. I'm so glad. I can't get over it. It's so good that you pulled that.
That's so good.
And it's the perfect one too. When we're starting, I was almost going to say like, it'd be great if you open that since you're planning on playing a bit of Guardian. And there it is.
Bolden.
Yep.
Ooh, got a Majestic.
Yep.
Endless Winter. Any good?
Yeah, Endless Winter. So that's the other Oldhim specialization. It's got Ice Fusion, so it's harder on the ice side. And as you'll see with a lot of the Ice Fusion cards, it's all about the disruption on your opponent's turn. So this one's just like laying on the Frostbite tokens, which basically adds cost to everything, to the first thing they play on their next turn. So it's really sweet. It's attacks for 8, only costs 4, which is pretty decent rate, and threatens some good disruption. We've got Transport stopped by in the chat to say remote opening. Damn. Yeah. Unfortunately, Transport, we are still locked down here in Melbourne and doing things remotely, but this is not a bad format. Got Isaac here on the cam. You still get to see me up in the corner of your screen. Hitting some commons, and you know, we got a nice big shot of Isaac opening that Rampart of the Ram's Head, so that's pretty cool.
Yep. We got, looks like we got 4 more packs left in total.
4 more packs. So how many, I won't ask you to count Majestics, we'll do that at the end, but I think we've probably hit about 6 or 7 at the moment. So there might be 1 or 2 more in these last 4 packs. Because it's been pretty consistently 8-ish a box.
Weave Lightning in rare, and then Bike and Gale.
Mm-hmm.
And foil Lightning Press.
Which is really interesting. It's an instant, but it functions very much like an attack reaction, which is a card type that you play after you've attacked and after they're blocked. It's a combat trick. This one can be used as a combat trick, but it can also be used at other times, which is interesting because there are some times, particularly against a hero called Prism, where you want to buff the attack value of your blocking cards. And this can let you buff the attack value of your blocking cards because it's an instant, so it can be played in any phase. But yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a powerful card. Tricks.
The foil in this again.
The foil on some of the lightning cards is just outstanding. There's one called Heaven's Claws. I think I've got one here. It's probably not going to do it justice on this cam, but the foiling, you can kind of see there's like a massive scar across the front of the card, and yeah, the foiling on that is so cool. Tricks are for kids, says Transport. Well, yeah, I guess so, but tricks are also for killing your opponent sometimes, especially in FaB where you'll often end up at 1 life each or like really low life totals. And you want to like block exactly so that you can come back with the maximum on your turn and try and take the tempo. And having tricks that can buff when your opponent doesn't really expect it can be devastating at those low life totals.
We've got a few.
And another Majestic. Exposed to the elements. So this is an interesting one. I actually, the longest time, thought that this was just a Guardian card, but it's actually it's an elemental card. So any of the 3 heroes in this set can play it. And it's a really rare thing in FaB to be able to blow up your opponent's equipment, whereas this is a way to do that. So for either of the heroes that can fuse the ice half of it, it threatens to blow up the opponent's equipment unless they pay 2 resources. And because it's an instant, you can play it after they've pitched all the cards in their hand and used all their resources on their turn. So you can pretty much guarantee to blow up their stuff, which is pretty strong. Transport says, that's what I'm saying, you don't expect a kid to kill you. Yeah, it happens a lot in card games. I was slain in the first round of the last Magic GP I played by a child playing a mono red deck. Don't expect the kids to kill you. And then they just cast lightning bolts all day and you die.
Alright, 2 last packs. Do we leave pack 1 or pack 2? Which one do we open first? 1 or 2?
So, pack 1's got Oldhim on it, so that seems like the best one to keep for last because it's your favourite hero.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it. So, certainly already cracked this bad boy, so not expecting too much here.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First rare is Explosive Growth. Then we've got Summerwood Shelter, Foil Snow Under, and then some other cards.
Very nice. Last pack.
Ooh. We will count those number of Majestics. To do. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn Timber, first rare. Second rare, Icequake, and
Foil and Twine Earth.
Twine Earth. Very nice. All right.
Well, that is a successful box.
Very successful. Very happy with this. So we've got the Ram's Head, And then we've got Majestic 1, foil rare, Majestic 2, foil rare, Majestic 3, Majestic 4 and foil. Let's put that one maybe down here. Foil rare, Majestic 5. What's this one?
Regular rare?
Rare.
Just cheeky reg.
Foil pet card.
Yep.
Majestic and a cold foil common. So 3, 4, 5, 6 Majestics, 1 legendary, so 7.
Yep.
And then the cold foil common, as well as 4 foil regular rares.
Nice. Well, that's a really solid box. Nice Majestics too in that pile. Frostlock and Channel Lake Frigid are two of my favourites, but Endless Winter's a strong one too. And Terra Sunder in foil is getting that in the Ram's Head. I mean, you couldn't ask for a more Guardian box, really.
I mean, I'm just stoked to pull this. Like, the rest is bonus, including this foil Glacial Footsteps.
Isaac's pet card. And Mulch. So yeah, shout out to Mulch. I hope he enjoys his little gift, the old foil Mulch.
It's actually my second foil Mulch that I got for him. So, by the time I catch up with him, which could be, I don't know, a year or something, I'll be like, here's a bunch of foil Mulches, Mulch. Start playing Flesh and Blood.
Awesome.
This right in the Keeps folder. Glacial Footsteps.
So before I shut off the YouTube video, how did you feel opening your first box, Isaac?
Yeah, well, I mean, you really can't complain when you double your money, right?
Yeah.
And I know that this is rare, right? Like, this is an exceptionally good box. You know, given that it's got like this is probably the second most expensive card in the set. Is that about right?
Yep, that's right. Behind the Fabled. Yep.
Behind the Fabled, which is the 1 in 20 boxes.
Yeah.
1 in 20 to 30 or 40 boxes.
Yeah.
So, incredibly lucky to pick up the second most expensive card in the set. And then a foil Majestic that's going to actually go in my first constructed deck, which is cool. It's actually your constructed deck, so if I don't like this deck, then you're going to pick up a free foil.
Sweet. I think the deck currently has 2 foil Terra Sunders in it, so that'll be the playset.
Excellent. Okay, so it's pretty playset in play.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And Transport says, as a suggestion, you should give Mulch foil Mulch every year for his birthday.
Yeah, just slow roll. And then, like, to pick up like another cold foil common.
Yeah.
Which, you know, like for the collectors out there that want 1 cold foil of every card, I can see them picking up this one for.
And in all honesty, out of the commons, the common equipment in this set, I think that might be the one that's most likely to see constructed play, because Ranger doesn't have. Lexi doesn't have a lot of. No, that's not true. Lexi has a legendary headpiece. So I was going to say Lexi doesn't have a lot of things to go in that slot, but the legendary headpiece is all about utilizing 2 arsenals, and there are some Lexi strategies, because there's so many different things you can do with Lexi, that actually want the extra reload from Honing Hood. So yeah, it could see some play. It's different enough to the other things in that slot that I think it could see some play.
Cool.
Yeah.
And is this the first box you've cracked stream whilst sharing the screen with somebody else?
It is. I think it's actually probably the first box opening that I've done off FaB on the channel. I think I've done some sealed pool openings, but I don't think I've done a full box opening, so it's cool.
Well, I'm glad to be part of it.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. Thanks for being a part of it and sharing your reflections. I think it's really cool watching your first FaB box opening, right? Like, the game obviously looks different when it's your first box that you're opening, and having a look at the way it all plays out and the way it feels.
Yeah, like not knowing like, I cracked a Majestic. Is this one garbage or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite handy to have you here to kind of shortcut a bunch of these things so that I can then kind of focus on one particular strategy and get my head around that. I would definitely suggest that for people that want to join this game, is that don't try to get your head around everything. Just choose like one thing, and I would suggest if you know with this set, definitely Oldhim would be the way to go. So you can just kind of get your head around it, because the more complicated strategies in this game are certainly very complicated. So I think just choose one thing and then learn how to play it. And then when you play against other people playing different stuff, you'll get your head around it that way. I think is my suggestion, based
Awesome.
on playing 3 tournaments and a total of like 20 games or something.
That's good. Well, it's going to be good to watch, for people to watch you develop from opening these cards in this box to playing a bit of Guardian and Constructed. So thanks to our YouTube viewers for watching. We'll sign off the video there, and we'll be back with some constructed content hopefully in the next few weeks.
Sounds good.